Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Community Partnerships in Action stream. The next speaker needs no introduction. It's myself, Alexi, who's been hosting this stream session with you over the last 2 days. And today I'm going to be speaking to you about Landcarer, which is an online digital platform that's designed specifically for the Landcare community. It's free, and we're going to explore some of the ways in which the Landcare community can use it currently and some new exciting things that we're working on. I'm joined here with Danielle Packer from Chen. Now, due to COVID restrictions, she has to be about 1.5 meters away from me, even though we're presenting in the same location. So she's just over here, and we'll be doing a little bit of a swap, and she'll jump in to present her component to this. Now, there'll be 2 segments to this talk. First, Danielle will walk you through the user experience on Landcarer and how she and her group, Cattai Hills Environmental Network, use the platform and what excites her about it. Then I will take over from there and speak to you about the new things that we're working on, improvements that we're trying to make to the platform, and something that I will talk about at length is a data management tool which we're exploring developing, which is in essence a tool that will help you track your Landcare outputs, but more on that later. So without further ado, I will hand over to Danielle. Danielle, thanks so much for being here.
Hi everyone, my name is Danielle Packer, and as Alexi said, I am from Cattai Hills Environment Network, also known as Chen. So thank you for everyone for attending today. Today I'm going to be speaking to you about Landcarer, this amazing new platform, and it's from the perspective of a user. So I'll outline the many different ways myself and my Landcare organization use the platform and why I think that you guys should as well. So I'll start by explaining what Landcarer is, and then I'll talk you through the main sections in the and how they can be used. Finally, I'll discuss the different tools and functions on the platform and explain how they assist me and Chen succeed. So what is Landcarer? So Landcarer is a single stop shop for all your needs as an individual or as a group in the Landcare space. So it's a social tool that allows Landcarers from all across Australia to interact, share experience, share knowledge, but it's so much more than that. So Landcarer also provides a number of tools. Sorry, I see the PowerPoint. So Landcare also provides a number of tools to help assist Landcare with their project management, their data tracking, their membership management and storage. It even has learning tools for training members and documenting procedures. Oh, sorry, I've actually skipped that slide. All right, so there are 4 main sections for Landcarer. The sections are people, groups, topics, and projects. Is that the next slide there? All right, so people are you, me, individuals who have a passion for the natural environment and want to share knowledge and resources with others. On Landcarer, we can connect with each other, message privately, engage in each other's posts, and invite each other to other Landcare groups and events. So groups. All right, so groups is where you'll find Landcare, Bushcare, Coastcare, friends of groups, networks, and other organizations. You can search for existing groups or set up your own. Through groups, you can bring all your members together in one space designed just for you. So there you can share information, you can coordinate with each other, you can store learning documentation, create e-learning modules, videos, podcasts, and stories. So there's just a whole range of different ways of sharing information and resources with your groups and other networks. Topics. So this one's a really exciting one. Topics is where you go to meet people from different organizations, where you share knowledge and you can join specific topics, areas centered around a particular subject. So there are bushfire topics. I've created a new habitat restoration one. There's education, water quality. So you can create your own topic and be the admin for that one, the host, sorry. So when you join these topics, you can interact with people from all over the world that are interested in that topic. So it's a fantastic way to connect with people you may not have had the chance of interacting with. Otherwise, it's a fantastic resource for sharing best practices for that particular topic. Projects. All right. So projects is a section where you can set up any ongoing projects you and your Landcare group might be working on. Through projects, you can coordinate your volunteers, share important information, and soon you'll be able to track your progress as well. But Alexi will actually be talking more about that later on. It's really exciting what is in store for Landcare in the project space. It's also a great way for people to get more involved in Landcare, to find projects in their local areas. So you can imagine if someone's trying to look for, I really want to get involved with habitat restoration, they can find that project and see what projects are in that area. So that's really, really convenient. Once they have that account, you can easily scroll through all the listed projects and interact with one another in that project. All right, so Landcarer also offers a whole suite of useful tools for people in the Landcare community. Here are just a few of the broad suite of functionalities and tools that I personally use on the platform. Yep, so it's on the same one. So stories. So on Landcarer, you can write, publish, and share stories about your own Landcare experiences, your best practices, and insights. These stories can be shared in the general feed across the Landcare community or within your particular group. As a writer, it is an excellent way of getting your message across to the right crowd. And as a user, the functionality means there's a whole pile of useful information and knowledge through that platform. Oh, yeah. So we've got webinars as well. So Landcarer also streams webinars. I'm really excited personally about this function. You can watch Landcare webinar series from other organizations as well as host your own. So that's a great way of just getting your message across via different ways. All right. So we got the membership management. So this will be really useful for Chen in the future. You can manage your membership payments to your group or your network through Landcarer. By using this feature, you're able to generate invoices, log payments, track members' payments, export contact details associated with your listings, and import details of members who have paid offline. This means you can have one central space to manage and track your membership. So that is just amazing to me, and I'm really excited to start using that for Chen. We've also got document storage. So Landcarer also provides a cloud storage system for Landcare groups. So if you need to keep your documents in a single shop, then this is where you can do it. So that's really exciting as well. So overall, why Landcarer, and why does Chen use it? Well, first of all, it's just a whole suite of tools designed for people like you and me that are in the Landcare space. It has so many different functionalities, and it's just so easy to coordinate and run your organization in such a more effective way. Secondly, it just has so much useful and resourceful information that you can share throughout your networks and throughout Australia, from farming techniques to upcoming environmental grants, which is absolutely amazing. In Landcarer, you won't be bogged down by the noise. Rather, you'll be immersed in the exchange of knowledge among Landcarers from all across Australia and even the world. So that's pretty crazy. Thirdly, it facilitates networking in Landcare like no other platform. So there are a lot of groups on Facebook that are specific for Landcare groups, and it's great for intra-communications. But what you don't get on Facebook is the intergroup engagement. Landcarer provides this. It provides a feed where we can engage in one specific area and just share our interests and knowledge in the Landcare community. Yep, so just, that's all from me, and I'll pass on to Alexi, and he's going to be telling us how Landcare is just going to get even better and more resourceful and useful for the Landcare community. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that, Danielle. And thank you to everyone who is attending today. Please don't hesitate to ask any questions that you may have for myself in the chat, and I will absolutely endeavor to answer all of those when we finish this talk. Now, I'm just going to speak to you more about new horizons, different things that we're currently looking at improving in the platform, and I will labor to describe something that's currently being explored, which is the data management tool, which is a feature that we think could really help the Landcare community in terms of success and visibility. Now, to begin with, and I'll be brief on some of these points, we've made a couple of changes to the platform to enhance the user experience. Firstly, we've shifted the hosting, which means that there will be slower load times, faster load times rather. You won't have as much lag, and you'll be able to navigate through the platform with more ease. We're also looking at ways of improving the user experience using the membership management tool, which we think is really valuable for Landcare groups and networks out there that need to manage their membership payments. We're trying to make it as easy to use as possible, and there's a couple of changes that we're going to be implementing over the next couple of months to ensure that that is the case. And finally, we're looking at ways of making the platform more accessible so that no one is excluded from using the platform and is able to access it in all of its glory. Now, with those tidbits covered off, let's turn to the big item that we are exploring and that I've already mentioned a couple of times, and that is, of course, the data management tool. To put it simply, we're looking at the possibility of building into the Landcare platform a data management tool that allows users to record their outputs on different on-ground projects that they are engaged in, and that generates reports with that data capture. The tool would automatically collate information and then allow you to extract it in a number of different ways to generate a report through a feature that would produce different ways of representing that data to prospective funders or prospective volunteers. Now, I know what you're thinking. A lot of reporting does already occur in the Landcare space. It's absolutely true. But let's have a discussion about how this reporting occurs. Now, many different groups report in a lot of different ways. Some have their own systems they use to report on on-ground projects. In the case of government-funded projects, they use a government portal to report. And in other cases, no reporting occurs whatsoever. But what does this mean for the state of reporting in the Landcare community? Well, it means a lot of things. It means that whilst there may be some data capture occurring for individual groups, because of the varied ways in which this reporting occurs and the access restrictions on these data, the visibility of what Landcare is achieving as a movement is limited. The government can see what is accomplished through government funding. The individual groups can see what's occurring in their individual groups if they have a type of data tracking for themselves. And groups that can't afford to implement a tool or don't have a tool at their disposal don't have any record of what is being accomplished. And what this means is that while data is captured in a number of ways, the visibility of these achievements is constrained to local levels. There's no aggregation of data that provides visibility on what the Landcare movement is achieving collectively at a regional level, at a state level, or at a national level. And this means less recognition is afforded to the Landcare movement than the community deserves. Furthermore, different groups are privy to different amounts of funding. Many of your larger networks implement their own tools for reporting, but for some of the smaller organizations, having access to these tools is difficult. If Landcare can provide an easy to use function for free to other groups, it will assist with their project management and recruitment. as they record their outputs to advertise to prospective volunteers. With access to free tools, these groups' ability to execute their projects and record those successes will be greatly enhanced. And finally, there are certain data fields that go underreported or are unrecognized. A great example of this is citizen science, which occurs across the Landcare space. Thousands of people engage in informative citizen science excursions and adventures in Landcare, and this knowledge sharing is often not recorded as part of Landcare's contribution when it absolutely ought to. So, with this background established, let's talk about data management and how this tool could be a solution to these different issues in the Landcare community. For starters, by offering a free and easy to use data management tool, it is our hope that Landcare can tackle this visibility issue that exists within Landcare. If groups from all over Australia and the world, in the case of global Landcare, utilize this tool to record their contribution to the natural environment, the visibility of the work at scale will be greatly enhanced. It will become a way for us as a community to properly quantify the aggregate of our outputs and prove the value of those hard-working volunteer hours. Now, there are likely a number of questions that would stem from this discussion, and although I did encourage you to ask them, I will try to preempt some of them before we go into question time. And the first of these is as follows. Isn't it difficult to create a reporting system that appeals to the entirety of the Landcare community who engage in such a vast diversity of projects? As we know, there's such a wide range, and for all of those that have been attending this talk over the course of the last 2 days, you know how unbelievably diverse the kind of projects are that people engage in Landcare. How do we create a single tool that can capture that information for everyone and better enable them to report on that? Well, the answer is in customizability. What we want to try to offer is not just a one-size-fits-all reporting tool, but one that's customizable from the user's perspective. In other words, the user can toggle what kind of data fields they'd like to capture and build out data capture to function in the way that they want. This way, diverse needs in the reporting are satisfied across the community. Second, won't the introduction of the tool create yet another way in which people need to report? If people are already reporting, why would we want to use another tool that is going to make us do more reporting and create more work? It's a great question, and it's something that we absolutely need to address if we want the success of such a tool to actually service the needs of the community. And the ambition here is not to create more work for you. What we want to do is we want to supplement pre-existing forms of reporting with new ways of data capture. For starters, this means we need a strong relationship with those pre-existing tools, which we already are in the process of establishing. The ambition is to actually create a setup with interconnectivity between Landcarer and that reporting and other pre-existing tools. So there's no need for doubling up on your reporting. They just communicate and pull data across the different tools and collate it for you. Furthermore, it's why it's so important that we go through this discovery phase and ideation and figure out exactly what kind of data needs to be captured that isn't currently, so that its functionality can assist and enhance current reporting without creating more work for anyone. Now, on a final point with data management before this presentation ends, I'm just going to talk about spatial mapping quickly. One thing that's come to our attention as a feature that many people are interested is the ability to spatially map where Landcare activity is occurring. We are considering building this feature into the tool. To give you an idea of what this looks like, look at the two images that you see here. Imagine being able to draw a catchment on the map and then have that represented so that you know exactly what region you're working on and you can report information on what is being achieved through that catchment area that's been identified on a map. Spatial mapping would provide a number of benefits. It would provide visual representation as well as numerical for what's being achieved in Landcare. It would make it very easy to locate projects as someone in Landcare or as someone looking to get involved. And it would solve concerns over doubled up reporting since a single catchment would regulate that reporting output. Now, if the data management is something that interests you and you want to have a say in the development of it, please get in contact with me via this email that you can see on your screen. As I said, we're in the ideation phase, ironing out the details of exactly how we want this functionality to work. So your input is incredibly valuable. Over the next couple months, we'll be running some focus groups where we'll consider how we want to create, how we can create the optimal tool. And we need your participation for this. So please, please get in contact. Fantastic. Now, thank you all for listening. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you on. And I am going to close off with a final little note. If you are interested in actually winning a little bit of a prize for your Landcare group, you can actually make a post using the hashtag you can see on your screen there, and you'll have a chance of winning $500 for your Landcare organization. So go on Landcarer using this hashtag and post regarding this talk, and look out for a message from me or the Landcarer admin, which is also me, and you will have a chance to win $500 for your Landcare group. Thank you all so much for listening, and we'll move into question time now. And you're going to have to excuse the unseamless transitions because I am managing about 4 computers at the moment. As you know, I've been hosting these things throughout the day already. Now, I'm going to do my best to address some of the questions that have come through. We've had a whole heap come through. Now, just give me a second. All right. Now, Katie asks, will Landcarer be available to use for non-Landcare NRM groups? That's a great question. Absolutely. We're trying to make it as ubiquitous as possible. We want it to appeal to as many people engaged in different types of natural environment action and work. So if we can create a tool that works across both the Landcare space, but also the NRM space, which we know has overlap, but is different and distinct, we absolutely will do that. Now, Sophie asks, can people with a Landcarer profile pay membership to a group via the platform? Yes, absolutely. So the membership management tool, which, as I mentioned, we already have functioning but are trying to improve every day, allows you to use the platform to pay those fees. So you can set up as a group, run those costings through the app, and then you can charge your individual members, and you can pay and pay that money into your group through the platform. Now, I'm just looking for another question here. Now, Gillian asks, is there a way of monitoring the information put up through data logging is accurate? And is that important? I think it's immensely important. And I think I mentioned during the talk about spatial mapping how there are concerns over doubled up reporting. And we want to make sure that what we're capturing is scalable and reliable information. So there are different ways we can implement protections around making sure that the data that is input is of value and isn't misguided or inaccurate in different ways. One of those is through the spatial mapping. So if we regulate a catchment through representation on a map, then you can see when a report has been created on that catchment, and you will be able to see, for example, a specific day. This has been accomplished. You go in and you wouldn't, of course, enter more information on a specific day if you can already see that that data has been logged for that day. Now, Katie asks a fun question, which is, I know it's early days, but if people get on board, how confident can they be that Landcarer will be maintained, continued? It's a great question. We currently have a funding package from the Department of Agriculture, which funds this project. So as people become engaged and more people are already jumping on board with this project, the confidence in the Department of Agriculture in our own ability to deliver something meaningful for the Landcare community is only heightened. So we already have a locked in amount of funding that comes through yearly. And that is going nowhere as our user base grows and grows. We ticked over 2,200 users just because of this conference already. And this is before we've done all of this new development in the platform. So in terms of this continuing on for future, I think there's absolutely no doubt that it will continue to stick around and help the Landcare community. And look, I think I'm going to have to call it there because I am getting hungry and everyone else has already gone to lunch. So thank you all so much for tuning in. It's been a pleasure to have you. I hope that this excites you. Please get in contact if you would like to participate with the ideation and creation of this tool. Your feedback as people on the ground is what's most valued. I couldn't do it without you. And we need your input to make sure that it's as useful as possible. So thank you all so much for tuning in today, and we'll catch you in about 40 minutes for the next talk in the community partnerships stream. Have a good one.